And there you see it. There is the bridge collapsed completely into the river. If we could get a tighter shot of that, I know they're working on it, to just zoom in and see what we can.
We're going to ask our producer or director if they could to see if there's anybody in our chopper who is going to be able to tell us a little bit about about what it is they're seeing, and we're going to work on that technically for you in a moment. But right now we're able to speak with Ken Barnhart with MnDOT, who's joining us now by phone. And quite obviously, Mr. Barnhart, this is a tragedy that we're just now learning some details of. But if you would, tell us, in your estimation, what may have happened here to cause this. Mr. Barnhart, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Mike and Julie here with KARE 11. Just, if you would, give us an idea of what may have caused what we're witnessing here now live.
I cannot speculate as to what may have happened. What I can tell you is that both the north and southbound bridges have been damaged, and what we would like people to do at this point is stay completely away from the area. If we do need help later on, we would call for it. The detour right now is using Interstate 94 and Highway 280. The more people that stay away from the area, the better off we're going to be, and the better off rescue workers will be.
Sir, are you aware of any construction going on this bridge?
We were doing a mill and overlay project on the bridge. Again, I'm not going to speculate as to anything that may have happened to the bridge. They will have to be inspected to determine what happened.
Sir, how long have you been with MnDOT?
Almost 18 years.
Have you ever seen anything remotely like this?
Thankfully, no. I'm standing right at the edge of it right now, and I don't even know what to say.
What are you seeing from where you're standing?
I'm seeing that the northbound lanes of the bridge are heaved up, and the southbound lanes have somewhat collapsed also. You
mentioned that there was perhaps some work going on there. How many men, women involved from your department in a project like this?
Oh, boy. From start to finish, I couldn't tell you that. Our work like this is done by contractors, but there again, I cannot speculate on anything that may have happened.
You sound, sir, understandably shaken up. Can you describe your first reaction when you came upon the scene?
I don't think you want to hear my first reaction. What came to mind to me was when the earthquakes hit in San Francisco.
What do you know about the age and integrity of this bridge prior to what happened just now?
As far as we know, we do inspections on our bridges throughout the state on a regular basis, and there was nothing at this point. But there again, I cannot speculate on that. We will have somebody available later from our bridge office that can talk about it.
Can you say with any certainty when the last time this bridge in particular was inspected?
No, I don't have those records with me.
Are you finding it's a problem because people are so curious as to what's happening on the scene? Have you seen some problems with that interfering with rescue efforts?
We are quite a few people down here that should not be down here, and we would like to get everybody out of the area. And it just would make things much easier for us. We don't have to worry about spectators and gawkers.
Have you seen many people being taken away from the scene? Are there still people who are being rescued as we're speaking, or has that seemed to slow down?
I can't hear you over the sirens right now.
I was just wondering if people, what we can see from our chopper is that it seems as if there are a lot of people walking around, but we don't see a lot of people being removed from the scene from our vantage point. Are you still seeing a lot of that?
There has been a massive rescue effort undertaken, and they right now are down underneath the bridge. All of the vehicles that you can see from the surface of the bridge, the people have been removed from them.
Ken, I know that you had mentioned several of your MnDOT employees and contractors perhaps working on this bridge prior to its collapse. Are you able to tell the folks at home, the relatives, the loved ones, who they're to contact to get an update on the conditions of those relatives?
At this point, no, I can't. That information will be released as soon as we're able to do that, and you would have to contact State Patrol.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate your time. We understand it's emotional for everybody involved, and we appreciate the information you've shared with us. We know the State Patrol is setting up a command post nearby. And
I just want to stress we want people to do the detours and stay out of the area to let us get our work done.
And those detours, again, 94 and 280.
Yeah, and if possible, take 694. 694 is flowing halfway decent right now. That would be an even better that for us. I've got one of our traffic people here, and he said 694 is moving fairly good.
And I just have another question for you, too, sir. We were told by an eyewitness that traffic was bumper to bumper at the time of the collapse. Around 6 o'clock, do you have any idea how much traffic normally flows over that bridge?
I don't have, it's more than 100,000 vehicles on a daily basis.
Ken, I know you had mentioned a moment ago about the type of work you thought was being done here, but I'm sorry, I just wasn't able to hear you. Tell me again what was being done.
Basically, it was a simple, we were just doing concrete repairs, nothing full depth, and we were getting out and just taking the surface off, putting a new surface down, new driving surface.
So you weren't doing any work underneath the bridge?
Absolutely not.
Moorings, the pilings, the footings, nothing like that, to your knowledge, was being touched today by MnDOT or the contractors?
There was no work going on beneath the bridge whatsoever.
Did it seem to collapse upon a highway underneath it as well, or mostly just into the river?
We want people to stay out of the area. I haven't had a chance. I don't know for sure how much of it has gone down beneath, but we need people to stay off any of the surrounding roadways.
Do you know yet if your workers are accounted for who are on that bridge?
I can't answer that either.
You're able to see, I'm going to just ask you to do a little sights unseen reporting, if you would. We had heard perhaps that a barge was close to this scene. We don't see it now from our live pictures from Sky 11. Are you able to speak to that at all?
From my vantage point, I cannot see a barge or anything.
Okay. Kent Barnard with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. They're very close to the riverbank, really, and he is talking at length with us. We really appreciate his time giving us an update as to what he's able to see, and what he was telling us is that some work there he was aware of from Minnesota Department of Transportation and its contractors going on the top, working some surface paving repair work.
Yeah, certainly something that happens all the time on nearly every bridge across the state when it's finally summertime and they can get that work done. Obviously, we still don't know what caused this bridge to collapse. He did mention that they're inspected regularly. We don't know when this particular bridge was last inspected, but we do know that there are regular inspections and that obviously they did not believe anything was wrong with this bridge before 6 o'clock tonight when it collapsed with bumper-to-bumper traffic on it.
Structural integrity certainly going to be one of the main questions asked over the next several days, and the ways to get around this, at least according to Mr. Bernard, were 694 and 94 and 280. He says are moving about as well as can be expected in a situation like this, but in any case, it's going to be a while before most of these cars are able to be rerouted.
And we know that you're watching this at home with as much disbelief and horror as we are. It is hard to look at these pictures, and I'm sure all of us have been on that bridge and are worried about those who are on it shortly after 6 o'clock, right in the middle of rush hour tonight. We understand that there are several medical choppers on their way to the scene, and obviously you can see from Sky 11 the emergency workers are doing what they can. We were told that they are now currently focused on under the bridge, trying to figure out if people are still in the water after this collapse directly into the Mississippi.
Sky 11 over it right now, and you can see too, if we could just take a look at what you see at the bottom right of your screen, it appears a portion of that bridge, right about there, gentlemen, appears to be on top of some rail cars. I'm assuming freight, but I do not know for sure. Imagine that it's cargo of some type. We don't know if anybody was involved in working that train line, as you see right there. And then it's, of course, the top end of that bridge where the smoke continues to billow from, and fire crews are watering down one apparent semi that had gone up in flames, and also some fire activity there to the left-hand side of your screen as well. That smoke clearly darker, but Joe Fryer had mentioned before from that scene, and I know he's with us again right now, that they had backed his crew away because of concerns perhaps about the toxicity of that smoke. Joe?
Yeah, Mike, we continue to get pushed farther and farther away from the scene. A few things that are worth noting right now. First of all, for people who are concerned about family, keep in mind there are so many cell phones going off right now in this area. It is very hard to get a signal out. So for people who may be struggling to get a hold of loved ones, keep that in mind. Right now, the cell service here, very difficult to get a signal out. It took me several times to try and be able to even reach Care 11.